Good morning. Happy Monday to Monday. That just tells you what type of day I got going on. Happy Thursday to you. Feels like a Monday, that's why. It feels like a Monday. I am trying to get something for you all while I put this in here. How we all doing? How we all doing? This is a special one today. You guys are lucky for those of you that are on here today. I'm going to teach you some things that not a lot of people know about. And this is something that really built my book of business. My main man Jake's on here because without his program, Referral Mate, there's no way in hell I could have done over the 200 referrals we've done over the last 2 years. So, Jake, make sure you put your link in there for Referral Mate because if you're not on it all, and you better get to it soon because it's gotten so big. All I told him, I said, you need to start charging people for this. You need to start charging people for this because I pay it. I paid in a second to be able to get instant referrals coming to me. Who wouldn't pay $100 to have referrals just come into your lap? I don't know if he's charging 100, but like I pay $100 all day long for that type of stuff. Anyways, so while we're doing that, put it in the chat where you're calling me from. Put in the chat where you're calling me from. So that way we could add you to our list. And many of you, I'm blessed that I know you, but some of you, we don't know each other or you don't know other people on here. And I'm really upset, not upset. I guess I'll keep this open to download this. I was just trying to find one of the, oh, here we go, show more. Um, I'm just trying to find something because I wanted you guys really to really hit home. Let me see if I can do it now. All right. Well, we'll figure it out. Anyways, good morning, all. Good morning to you all. We got some amazing things for you all. We got some really, really cool things. Actually, we've gotten ourselves to a certain level, all that we actually have sponsors now for our power players. And we have a sponsor that's going to be at the very end that's going to help you with your business, to help you grow, to help you deal with taxes. How many of you like taxes? I'm not even going to tell you a number to put in the chat because I know you're like me. How many of you don't like tax? How many of you can't stand cringed around tax time? Put a 5 in the chat. If you're like me, you cringe, you procrastinate, you put it into October, you don't know half your freaking numbers, you can't reconcile, you don't know where your receipts are, you don't know how much money you made. How many of you are like that? I just want to see if maybe I'm the only one. Okay, good. So there's several people. Well, stay to the end because we're going to have something that's going to make your life really, really easy. So I was trying to find, I can't really find it quite yet, but I'm going to talk to you a little bit about today. Not a little bit today. I'm going to talk to you a lot about today. How many of you want more listings? Put a 10 in the chat if you want more listings. Put a 10 in the chat if you want more listings. All right. So a lot of you want some more listings, which is very good. Nope, that's not it either. I'll get to it. So I started this journey first and foremost. My name's Coach Brock Zevan. I'm a life coach, business coach, real estate coach. I still am a real estate agent and I'm a DAD. And I say that because I've been hearing more and more people like, do you just do coaching now? Are you a real estate agent? No, I seriously still do about 15 to 16 million dollars in real estate personally myself. I've been doing it every year for the last 9 years, except one year when I lost my license. And that was in 2019 where I had a lawsuit. I lost my license and I still, because of where I really turned my business venture and how I did scripts and conversations was I got really good at talking to strangers and I still made over $250,000 that year without a real estate license. Since then, I've still made over $250,000 each year and grown every year talking to strangers, doing different things that I'm about to teach you every single year. And so I've learned how many of you would like to work smarter, not harder? Work smarter, not harder. Put an S in the chat if that's you. If you want to start working smarter, not harder. So I started to listen more to Tom Ferry. Tom Ferry talks about processes and systems, and I really started to fine tune my process and my system. Well, one year, well, 2 years ago, I came across a gentleman by the name of Louis Morales. And some of you know Louis, and Louis is in Wisconsin. And Louis reached out to me in some of my coaching programs and said, "Hey, man, could you do this novation for me?" I said, "What? Novation? How many of you have heard novation? Put a yes in the chat if you've heard of novation. Put a yes in the chat if you've heard of novation." Honestly, all I had no idea what the hell innovation was. Couldn't tell you what it was. I was like, I guess so, maybe. And so I started to study it and learn it. Now, this was literally right around 2 years ago for those that follow my journey. That screenshot right there, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly how many transactions I've done in the last 2 years doing this to a certain point that we now have a whole website that we've built out. I will put it on here so you guys can look at it and see what it's all about, explaining it, how it works, everything that we do with it. Why? Is because it's literally transformed my business. Now, I would share with you what I was trying to find was an actual CD of a deal I just did with Paul. Paul's on here. I partner with people all across the country. I help you do it. My goal is to help you make money so I can make money. That's plain and simple. If both people win, I think we're going to be okay. So I partner with people. That's why I ask where you're living, what you're doing. I do have a coaching program that's on here. It's going to blow you out of the mind because when I tell you it's $3,000 for 3 months, some of you are going to be like, oh God, there's no way I can afford that. I can't do it. And I would say to you, can't afford not to. That's basically what I'm going to tell you because it's transformed my life where there's certain time periods just in novations alone. We typically average $12,000 a month just doing novations off of referrals because I learned how to do this at a very high level. Now what we're doing is I'm calling listings and I'm getting them myself. COVID, COVID taught us that if I said to you, imagine 5 years ago, I said, "Hey, Claire, this is Brock. I'm about to do a seminar on Zoom. I really like you to come in my Zoom channel. Could you come to Zoom?" Like, what the Zoom? Like, we've heard of Zoom, but we didn't understand the Zoom at the capacity it is today. People that are even in Charlotte, where I live, I just say, can we Zoom instead of me traveling all the way across Charlotte? I got to drive 45 minutes, drive 45 minutes back for us to have a 30-minute conversation that I can do on Zoom. I can be so much more efficient. That's why coaching and training and doing these things are so important. That's why you got to learn these skills and learn these things. And so I learned how to do this at a very high level to a point that we got so many coming in that we had to hire a virtual agency, a virtual agent. How many of you have a VA? Put a VA in the chat if you have a VA. Put a VA in the chat. How many of you want a VA? How many of you are like, damn, I'm thinking about a VA. I don't know what to do with the VA. I don't know if I can afford a VA. If that's any of you, put a VA in the chat. Because we were doing 15 to 20 of these a month, we had to whole hire a VA department to be able to manage this. Today, I'm going to teach you, I'm going to give you websites. I'm going to teach you the websites that I use, where I go to get my information, how I can find out what they owe on a property to use that to negotiate. I'm going to give you questions. I'm going to share with you the levels. And some of you on here are going to be triggered and so infatuated with this that $3,000, that $1,000 a month, you're going to be like, you know what? I think I might need to do this. I think I might need to figure out how so I can earn some extra income. How many of you would like to make an extra $150,000 a year? How many of you just put a yes in the chat if I'm talking to you? If you'd like to make an extra $150,000 a year by doing something that you really do part time, because this is not my full time job. And see, what I do is I help you with this process to be able to do it. But here's the most important thing: you need to know how to talk, you need to know where to go to find these. And so that's what I'm going to share with you. Before I do that, though, what I like to know is this. I like for some of you to get a little crazy for me, get a little wild. Claire took her, she's got her jacket off. She's freaking ready to rock and roll. You know what? I'm going to take my jacket off too, Claire, because I'm a little hot too. We're going to do it. Jake, if you want to take your jacket off too, Jake, you can. All right. I'm serious, all. This will change your life and your income status because I do it every single day now. Every single day. I just did one with Paul that I was going to get to you. So Paul and I just did one in Ohio. Our gross commission check, I was trying to find the CD, was $30,000. We bought the property for 60,000, sold it for 90,000. Okay? I used how much of my money? Zero. This is all done on paper. It's all done about presenting. I was talking to our group coaching yesterday on our listing conversation, our listing coaching that I'm doing. And I told them, I said, the biggest thing that people have in life, or the biggest challenge that real estate agents have right now, is their skill level is really poor and their presenting is really is worse than that. We don't know how to present. We don't know how to share our information to make people be like, damn, I need to be with that person. Okay. How many of you, write this down, put it in the chat here. How many of you, be vulnerable, be honest here. How many of you feel that you need more help on skills or presenting? Put it in the chat. I would like to have more help on skills or presenting. Put it in the chat to see which one. Now I know somebody's gonna do. I knew it. I knew somebody's gonna put both. I was waiting. I was like, somebody's gonna put both. Both. There, Claire's got both. Jesse's got both. Julie's yes. Skills, both. So to be all honest with you, majority of people where they suck is presenting. People don't know how to present because they're so infatuated, they're so worried about what to say and how to present it. I could see an amazing skill person with the horrible presenting and they won't get the deal. But I could see somebody who has amazing presenting skills with the horrible skill set and they'll get the deal. How do I know that? Put a 10 in the chat if you know a terrible real estate agent that got to the that got to closing. How many of you know a terrible real estate agent that got to the closing table? Right? They have a terrible skill set. They can't freaking tie their shoe and chew gum at the same time. But they got to the closing table. I think we are talking to Jesse on somebody who had a lack of communication. They don't know how to talk. They don't know how to communicate. They're just terrible. The thing with novations is you have to have a really good sense of presenting skills because most of these wholesale innovations that we deal with are distressed properties in some aspect, or they have some sort of financial baggage. They got a divorce. They're going through a heartache. But now we're just seeing people who just want to be done with it because what we've learned with technology is we've created the path of least resistance. We've created something that people just want an easy button. They just like, I'm done with it. How many of you have heard, put a three in the chat, heard of Mark Spain, iBuyers, institutional buyers, open door, offer pad? How many of you heard of those type of people? Okay. So several of you have heard them. That is what you will become, but you won't use anybody's money. And I learned how to present this at a very high level to do this. And I do it all across the country in all 50 states. I asked Rika, um, she just did a post on it, but we have over, what do we say? I don't even know. We have a Google Maps. That's why I asked people where we have. We have I know we have over 200 agents that have been with us that we work through, thanks to Jake and his team, because it's the only way that we could do this. Because if we put referrals into those stupid Facebook groups, I'd have like 300 people texting me, and it was so annoying. So there's different strategies. What I want you to write in here is I should have, there's 23 people in here, unless a note taker can suddenly text and write. I like you to write your question in here, what you want to learn. What is it that you want to learn? I don't care how dumb the question is. I don't care how silly the question is. I want you to put a question in here that, boy, oh boy, I'd really like to know about what. So take a minute. I want you to know explain novations like a third grader. That actually is a popular one. Like a lot of people don't understand the concept of it. And you have to like think differently. But let's see what we got. Jacob, Heather, D, the process. Shocking, D, the process. D always likes the process. Brock, can you break this down for me? What are the steps? This is also how I know your personality all. The process, how the process of novations differ than an assignment. Oh, that Claire's got a real that's a 25-cent question going a little deeper that how do I get started? Get started coaching with me, John Root, coaching with me. I like to know how and where to start the process. Now, there's several of you still on here. You still haven't given me the question yet. You haven't given me a question. Kathy's trying to come up with hers. She's working through it. What do I need to know about it most of all? It's funny. I love these questions. So the best way to get started is to go into your Facebook groups and go to wholesalers, go to Facebook groups, go to wholesalers, go to novations, go to investors, so you can start to see what they're posting and what they put out there. There's a lot of national groups. That's where I would first begin today. Okay. That's where I would start. And I would start to have that on notification. I would go into it and I would start to look at it. Next, I'd go find your investment groups in your local hometowns. Go into your local areas, go to these meetup groups, go these investor groups. Sherry, she's not on here. She's at a church event today, but she helped me get in front of more groups like this. She helped me get in front of other investors, and now I'm like a go-to investor when people are like, "Hey, Brock, can you help me with this?" Money exchanges hands when problems are solved. Write that down. For those of you who've written it down before, write it down again because every day we seem to forget that. I try to find as many problems as I can with investors, and investors can't sell their property. And they can't sell their property because they can't get the dollar amount that they want. And so I have to try to come up with strategies to help them sell their homes, sell their properties. And real estate innovations is one of them. Now, for full disclosure, not every firm likes these. So you do need to check with your E&O. Is this being recorded? It's not being pushed out, so I can say this. I'm going to give you guys the. I just keep my mouth shut. That's just what I do. I keep my mouth shut and I just keep rolling with it. And I'm a person, I rather ask for forgiveness than permission because that's just the way I roll. Now, if you are one of those that likes to follow the rules, then I would talk to your broker in charge and say, do you have an E&O insurance policy that covers wholesale innovations? They could possibly tell you no, and then you're gonna be like, oh, damn, this sucks. Okay. So there are different in different states. So for those that are real, you can have different states that allow it. You have to sign a form that allows you to be able to do it. I've talked to more brokers and charges all than one can than I don't even know, but I've talked to a lot of brokers and charges explaining this to them because they really don't understand the process. The process is 100% legal. Okay, it is 100% legal. I guess one thing I can share with you all. Um, Let me see. I thought I just added up. Hold on. Um, there's a couple different forms. I'm just gonna get in. I'm not gonna get into all the logistics. This is kind of more on the coaching side of things, but I'm just gonna share with you. Like here, literally was the contract that we did, and I didn't make this up, Claire. I told you $60,000 is what I bought it for. Here's the property. Here's the information. Here's the company. You have to have an LLC. Our inspection period, the breakdown. We used a lot. This was created by an attorney. So everything's legal, as you can see here. I mean, it looks legit. There's everybody's signatures that we had on here. This is our novation and identification agreement. I probably said that word wrong. And then what we have is the very end. is called our attorney in fact, and this is the authorization allowing me to sign these documents. Okay. These are what we do. This is the form that I send people when I want to purchase property. Okay. So when people say, like I tell people because they don't want to pay, they're like, well, I don't want to pay for your coaching and do it on my own. I said, that's perfectly fine. You certainly can. Just go to ChatGPT, try to create your own contracts, create your own AIF, create all your forms and go ahead and do it. It's just, I paid a lot of money in the beginning because I co-broked majority of my properties, but I didn't care because I wanted to learn. I wanted to study this. I wanted to be able to understand how I can do this because, like all of you, you want to know your process. So, your process is you just need to get in the environment. So, number one is get in the environment. I shared with you the Facebook groups, I shared with you where you can go. That is the environment for what it is. Next is getting around coaches, whether it's me, mentors, or anybody else, is understanding how to do this, what this looks like. Okay. Now, not me following about 60 pages. So the next step that you got to do is the phone calls. So where I get leads is Arch Agent. So you can call for sale by owners and you can present this to. I use iSpeed to lead. I use iSpeed to lead. There's IF3. There's, I think it's called Bumblebee, but just Google it and just be like, where can I find wholesale innovation leads? Now, why does my coaching cost $1,000? Is I literally coach you for free, but I provide you the leads. And I go through the lead sources and I help you find the right leads that are going to work because I've had enough issues on what works and what doesn't work. The reason is because how many of you know that you can call FISBOs and expireds and you can pay $75 and you get all these leads, you get all these opportunities that come in. That is what you call outbound calling. That's outbound. When you get these leads, they're called inbound. Inbound means that somebody scratched them, combed them to find out whether or not they were really legit, they really want to sell, what's their credibility. Inbound leads cost me anywhere from $30 to $50 a lead. I've now worked with different programs doing this a while that I've gotten negotiated some of my leads down, which means you would get more leads. So that's why it costs is literally you pay for the leads and I coach you for free. But that's how you're able to get more opportunities in reference to that. Now, I gave you the websites. You can certainly go to yourself. You can pay for it yourself, put your own credit card in there. You can do your own thing. That's where I go. I primarily go to iSpeed to lead. That is what I do. If you want the syndication link, we can send it over to you and you can hap at it and then you go through the training and everything you do it. That's where I go. Okay. Point blank. I'm not hiding anything. That's where I get my leads and that's how I do it. It's just expensive in order to do that. Next, what happens is that you have to have three. Is Jada on here? I just did this with Jada, just joined my coaching program on this. Okay. There's three levels that you want to write down. Three levels that you got to know inside out and backwards. One's a cash offer, one's an equity plus program offer, and the third one is tradition. I've found that this has become my new little thing in trying to get more listings. Because if they don't like the phone, I mean, if they don't like the cash offer, they don't like my equity program, guess what's left? Me to sell your house normally. And that's how I've been getting my listings. Is I talk to them and say, listen, it doesn't seem like the numbers are going to make sense to you. Let's just do a traditional sale and let me help you out with the process. Wow, you would do that. Now I get the you would do that for me? Yes. Yes, I would do that for you. I would really be more than happy to help you out. Or I give it out and I give it away. So that way you can have it. And then I send it to people. So you want to be able to take those three different levels, cash, equity plus, and traditional sale. Those are your three main ones that you do. Now, for numbers purposes, you want to write this down. Cash offers are usually 40% off market value. Equity plus are anywhere from 12 to 15%, which remember, if you study Mark Spain, if you study institutional buyers, if you study open door offer pad, if you ever did a listing or you got just try your own house, if you ever looked at their offer, what is their percentage off the market value? 12 to 15%. All you were becoming is an institutional buyer and they do it all day long. Okay. And then the traditional sale, I always say it's 7%. That way my commission's automatically in there. I haven't had anybody bitch, whine, and complain at me, tell me because I wanted to do what's it called? Complain about getting a 3% or 2.5% commission on the buy side. Okay. It is there. So so this is the role playing. These are the conversations. So when you're talking to people, I say this. This is my intro. Good afternoon. My name is Brock Zevan. I'm an investor and real estate agent. Your address came across my computer today, and it looks like you've been trying to sell. What part of the process are you in? That is my line, all. That is my line. Write it down. I'll say it again. But literally, that is my line that I say to people. How you doing? My name is Brock Zevan. I'm an investor and real estate agent. Your address came across my computer today, and I wanted to see if I could help you or where you are in your process of selling your property. And guess what? These are inbound leads. So they're going to be a little bit different. Why the F you calling me? I can't believe you're calling me. Why are you blah, blah, blah. You're not hearing that as much because they know that they put their boy, I've been getting a lot of phone calls. I get this. I've been getting a lot of phone calls from you people. Oh gosh. What type of people? Well, you're going to lowball me. You must have been getting a lot of the cash offers. How many cash offers have you gotten? See, I'm setting you up all. I'm setting you up all. This literally the gentleman from last night. Yeah, because Heather is also part of our program. Like this literally all is this is how you separate yourself. Tell me a little bit more then. They gave you a cash offer? Oh gosh, well what other offers did they give you? What other programs did they give you? What do you mean other programs? Well, did they give you your Equity Plus program so that puts more money in your pocket? Have they shared with you the traditional sale route? No. And see, immediately you're getting them to, they're now leaning into you because you're giving them something that they haven't heard before. And you have to walk through this with them like, well, would you like to hear my other two programs? Maybe one of these might fit you and your family. And then I start explaining them more in detail about the two other programs. I start sharing with them that, okay, well, the Equity Plus program does this. And this is what I say in the Equity Plus program, all like write this down. This is so important. This is the skills that you need, and then you can present it later. The skills that you need to understand is you want to throw as much shit in their face that they can't even, they're like, holy smokes, wow. And how I do that is I say, well, what the Equity Plus program does is we remove any of the commissions, remove the buyer agent conversations, we remove the listing, all the listing docs that go with the property. We remove the appraisal, we remove the title, all the repairs, the surveys, anything that goes with the property. You don't have to deal with it anymore. That is completely done. Now there's a convenience fee for that, but you don't have to deal with any of that stuff. The only thing you're going to get is money wired into your bank account in 60 days or less. Would you be okay with that? Okay. I want to take a little pause here real quick. That is called presenting. That is called presenting when I say, are you going to be okay with that? That's what most people, agents, I'm telling you this right now, you need to practice that. You need to practice that so well to be able to say, just rolls right off of your tongue. whether you're Jake and you're working with high end people trying to promote his referral mate and talking to like higher up people, whether you're Christian who's working on his app and selling it to firms across the country, whether you're John getting involved into novations, no matter you're for sale by owners, you're Sydney in Oregon, you're Claire in I don't know where Claire lives. Oh, Florida, whether you're Lee down in Key West, you have to be able to say with no, like this, would you be okay with that? Would that be something that you can deal with? Because I'm going to get them to say yes at that point. And then after they say yes, they're going to give me their biggest problem. And that's where you make your money. They're going to tell you their objection. They're going to tell you they can't, their timing, their ex-wife, the house is destroyed. They're going to tell you their financial problems. They're going to tell you everything under the sun. And that's when you lay it down and you start writing notes down and you start absorbing everything that they have. And once you do that, then all you do is you regurgitate and say, okay, it sounds like you had some problems financially. You're trying to get all your credit cards paid off. It sounds like you're behind on your car. And it sounds like if you could sell your house and get this income in the next 60 days, you would have this all completely removed. Is that fair to say? It would be. Okay, great. Well, what I would like to do is send a team member out there to take a look at your property so we can give you an assessment of a fair market price on what we could purchase your home for so we can get you this money within your bank account in the next 60 days. When would be a good time for us to come out there? Would you like to come out there at 6 o'clock today or tomorrow at 2? Am I speaking to somebody right now that wants to be able to do that? Am I speaking to somebody? Put a 10 in the chat if you're like, damn, that's what I want to be able to regurgitate off of my tongue, off of my mouth, to be able to say that with fluency and ease and to be able to have that skill set to be able to present. You got to practice it all. You got to be able to say that over and over again because they're going to lean into you at that point. And it doesn't matter the price point. Justine and I just did one in Atlanta for 1.3 million. There is no broke, distress, divorce, house is a disaster. They don't discriminate. They don't care your price point. It happens at every single price point. Have you never seen a mansion completely disrupted or bankrupt just as much as a trailer? It happens at all levels. So what you want to do, you have two choices. You can do what Paul does. Paul calls me up and says, Brock, I got a live one. You ready to go? And him and I have a 50-50 brokerage split, meaning like a 50-50 agreement, not even a brokerage, because I don't care what I don't care what company you work for, because you can do it. There's no rules and regulations on your referral fees. And I go in and I close the deal, and then he listens to what I have to say so he can learn at the same time. He's not part of my coaching program. He was, but he's not anymore because he's starting to do a little bit on his own. But what he's a part of is our co-broking program, so he can just co-broke deals. He's like, I want to do this. Like we have another one in Greenville, South Carolina that they're dealing with an eviction. And I think we're going to buy the property for $30,000. Guess how much I'm going to list it for? $124,000. She lives in Florida. She doesn't want to do it. She has no clue how to do eviction. She has no clue how to get the guy out. And we've been walking through her every step. Now, it's not an overnight process. We told her, I said, I'm going to need more than 60 days. The eviction itself's taking 60 days. But guess whose attorney she's using? Guess whose attorney is going to close the deal? Because I have resources. That's why you got to go to those groups. That's why you got to go to those wholesale companies. That's why you got to go to the investor groups, because there's only certain attorneys in different states that do this. Are you getting something out of this? Put a 7 in the chat if you got at least one thing from this so far. Because my next question I'm going to give you is, these are the websites you want to write down. Okay. I've learned how to do this at a very high level when I'm talking to people to be able to say to them, because I got to figure out their price point. Because is it fair to say that I got some people with unrealistic price points, right? Now, guys, this is you can use for any deal. You should be using these 5 websites regardless. Okay. Is Fran on here? Where's Fran? Is Fran on here? She was on here. She's not on here anymore. But Fran teaches and coaches RPR, Residential Property Report. Put a 2 in the chat if you've been to RPR, know RPR, done RPR, have RPR, looked at RPR, but have no freaking clue what RPR is. You need to use RPR. Okay. It's in your MLS, right? Sydney loves it, but she actually teaches it. And I've been using RPR. So every property, every single thing goes into RPR. So RPR, Residential Property Reports, and should be most of your MLSs. So RPR is first. Number 2, Zillow. Okay. Love them, hate them. I don't care. They got good data. All right. So I use data. I know, and they're using Zillow as well. So I just want to be able to see what they're seeing. So Zillow, RPR, Redfin, Realtor.com. And here's one that most people don't know about, PropWire. PropWire or PropStream. PropWire or PropStream. I use PropWire. I also use that for my skip trace. It costs 10 cents for me to get owner's information. Okay. For those of you who are trying to get a for sale by owner, you're trying to get some people's information, go to PropWire. I actually have PropWire. Here's one that I'm doing. I'll show you a quick share screen here so you guys can see it. Since you guys are getting stuff out of it, it seems like you guys like it. So this is what PropWire looks like. And so yesterday I was talking to a guy. I knew exactly when I was talking to him, I said, man, it looks like you got a phenomenal interest rate, less than 3%. Yeah, man, I do. And it looks like you got some good equity in your property. It looks like you're sitting over $250,000 in equity. Yeah, I do have that. And it looks like, based off of what I'm seeing here, it looks like you started off with 195,000, a little bit under 200,000. But did you take out another equity line or you do something maybe with Rocket Mortgage? Yeah, yeah, I did. How do you know all this? Well, sir, this is what I do. I study this to make sure that I'm providing you the information you need for me to be able to help guide you because you want to sell your house, right? You see how we took today's knowledge? The skill is me to look at it. But if I was able to, if I was able to do that, I still got to present it to him to lead him down a path. Be like, yeah, that's it. That's what I want. And his name is Timmy. All right, Timmy. Timmy, this is what I'm going to do for you, bud. I'm going to come up with a proposal and a plan for your property, but I'm going to need to take a look at it. Are you open for me to come take a look at it, or somebody from my team? Where's Heather? Heather, we just did one of these. Okay. Heather was out. We were in Denver. I have 2 young kids, so I typically do not go to properties. And I just say, Heather and I will be out there. We're very excited to be able to show you. And then what happens is Heather goes by herself and we have a script on what that looks like. So that way it's not weird, it's not crazy. And Heather, how smooth was it when you went out there? Right? And that was Heather's first one working with me on this deal. And it's just it's the presenting and how you present it and the skill set of what you're saying. So to fast forward, that's how you get the information. Those are the websites that you go to. Now, I talked to you about Referral Mate. Referral Mate is where then I go to do this all across the country. So when we do leads, you will start in your hometown. And the reason why I start in your hometown is because God forbid I tell you to go to Texas and you don't live in Texas. And for whatever reason, you get all nervous because it's in a different state. I got news for you that lasts about 2 weeks. And then I force you to go into other states to do this. Because is it fair to say that there's more listings in the United States than in your hometown? Right? There's plenty of business all. And once you have the confidence, then you don't care what state it's in. And if I could tell you that there's other real estate agents who are hungry, willing, and able to do this, you have no problem. It's another simple thing that you can get. Now, how do I make money with referrals? How many of you have taken a referral? If I gave you a referral that was $800,000, how many of you would pay me 35% referral for that? right? It'd be a no-brainer. So I want you to write this down. When I give out referrals, I won't offer anything less than 35%. I won't ask for anything less than 35%. Does Zillow do it? Does Zillow charge you a freaking arm and a leg and we pay it? We pay it for whatever reason we think as an agent. It's a business. When I do over $1 million ones, I do 40%. I ask for 40%. And when they bitch, whine, and complain, which they very seldom do, I've had like maybe two people. That seems to be a lot. I mean, I don't know. I have to think about it. That's fine if you could just let me know in the next 5 minutes because I'm going to call another agent. Oh, well, I mean, seriously, I mean, no, I think we could do it. I think we could do it. Okay, great. They'll do it. 40% on $1 million. Somebody want to do the calculations on what that looks like on a 3% commission because that's what we pay them out. 3% on $1 million, $30,000. 40% of it's about 12 grand by just talking to people. Okay. So, um, let's see. I talked to you about the three levels. I talked about I talked about the websites I go to. I talked about those that are interested in a VA. That's how I use my VAs to help me. Rika the main person. I talked about what websites I go to. Um, So before I get into the other item, who's got some questions for me? I'd like everybody to come off of anybody to come off of mute. At this point, don't try to leave everybody because we got a couple things still left. I got some bonus scripts I'm going to give you too. Who's got a question? Yes, somebody's got a
I'm
question.
sorry. I didn't catch all the lead sources. I saw one, I believe. So I was driving. If you can repeat those.
So the lead sources as well, all you all will get my show notes on this. So I will send you the recording in the show notes. So for those that are
Oh,
driving or missed it, you will get it.
yeah.
But I use iSpeed to lead. I use IF3 are my two main ones, and I use Arch Agent are the ones that I use. All right. Yeah, Zillow is 40% times two. Yeah, they don't care. And I don't and I also tell the agent, I said, this could be your pulse to be able to generate more business. Because if you bring in the buyer, I don't take a referral from you. I just get the referral from the listing side. I hope you bring in the buyer. I don't care. Everybody makes money. It's the abundance mindset. You want to create habit number 5 in the 7 habits of highly effective people, creating win-win. Who else got something for me? I got to get at
So,
least two
Brock,
more
question.
questions. Yes, Heather.
So when we are pulling all this together, how much time would you say on each one of these listings you take on the back end to pull all the information from these sites you're using? So it like we're talking about me blocking my time. So what's that look like on an average?
So, um, less than a minute is literally I'm doing it while I'm on the phone with them.
Okay.
And that's where skill set and practice come into play.
Okay.
Like I have all 5 sites up on my computer. That's why I have 2 screens. So all 5 of them up are on the left-hand side. Okay. I put in the address while I'm ringing the phone. Okay. As soon as the phone, I go to RPR first to get an idea. If they start talking to me and they tell me that the price that they give me, because RPR gives me a range, if they are go within that range, I'm now like freaking game on. Like I can get them now. If they're not even close, then I start trying to cut the conversation and I say, you know what? I think, why don't we do this? Honestly, I don't know if you're at the pain level ready to make this type of decision. And so it sounds like to me you might need a couple more weeks in order for you to do this. Do you mind if I follow up? I don't really care what they say because they're going to forget me in 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I'll just call them again. So I don't spend too much time on it. It will go in RPR right away. It is on my other screen. So my main screen, this screen that's right in front of me. And then I'll just show you here. And then this screen, as you can see here, has my data and I'm reading it at that point. Okay.
Great. Thank you.
For high S's and C's, that's going to be a little challenging because you're going to want everything in front of you, S's and C's on the disk. You're going to want all your data. You're going to want to make sure it's accurate. You just got to go at it. I know, I like just like it was with you all. Like, hey, I'm trying to find something to help you all. Let me see if I can find it. They're going to be fine with it because you're trying to help them. Good question though. Who
I got a
else?
question. I got a,
Yes.
so on these deals, when you're doing like the equity plus, well, traditional would be traditional, but how are you doing the funding for this? I mean, you're not using your money, but how are you so
The
that
secondary buyer. So the secondary buyer actually has the money. So you have to present to them like, hey, just want to let you know that I'm going to have your money wired within 60 days to the attorney. During this process, I got to get as many buyers through your house as we possibly can. How I bring buyers through there is through investors, contractors, and a real estate agent for us to be able to generate as many people as we go through. Do you care how we go through this process, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, or do you care more about your price? Which one do you care more about? And they're going to say their price. They're going to say their dollar amount. So great. I'm going to send John Root out there. He's one of our top agents in the area. He's going to come out there. He's going to be able to assess the situation. Now, this is a little bit different than a normal real estate transaction because he's just there to look at the numbers. He's going to take some pictures of the property. I don't care what the house looks like, to be honest with you. So do whatever you need to, clean it up, not clean it up, doesn't bother us. So you're removing friction from them because they haven't done it because of the friction. If you remove friction, they're more at ease to be like, okay, I mean, yeah, that's fine. Okay. And so all I do is they know that they're not getting their money for 60 days. I'm upfront with them and I tell them your money's not coming for 60 days. Most people can wait 60 days. Okay. Does every deal close in 60 days? No. Where's Paul? Paul knows that. Our one deal took us 3 months, 3.5 months. But once you're in the transactional, there's, I mean, even the one we had $4,000 worth of mold. Guess how much money came out of my bank account during the repairs for the mold? $0. It's all about presenting and how to negotiate. That's why I don't recommend trying to do this on your own the first time because you could be out a lot of money and understanding like, woe is me, am I supposed to pay for this? Like you pay for it, but I paid for it out of the closing, the CD. All my money gets put on the CD. And then that's how it all broken down. And then I get wired my account that goes to BZ3 Enterprises into my bank. Good question. One more question, because then I'm going to show you what you do with your money. One more question, one more takeaway. Come on, somebody's got something. What is the conversation with the investor to get them on board? So, what I would say when you're marketing yourself is that you're a novation specialist. I'm a novation specialist. If you want to try to do it on your own, you certainly can. If you want to partner with me, the first couple, then you just say, hey, I got a team. We're innovation specialists. We got agents all across the country. Be more than happy to help you. What do you charge? Nothing. We get our money from the agent that we find for you. We're free. Why not use us? So that's exactly how I do it. How many of you are contemplating thinking about next steps of innovations? Put your name, put me in the chat if you're just like, you know what, maybe I need to take this to the next level. I'm not saying to pay $3,000, but like I gotta do something in some capacity that maybe I should have another conversation with Brock about this. That maybe I should be like, you know what, I don't know where I am with it, but I like to do a deeper dive. Because if you put me in there, I will call you and I'll be like, hey, where are you with this? What does this look like for you? Is this something that you want? Listen, when I help people with this, I'm not going to call every single one of you because you'd be like, well, I didn't put me in the chat. Like you have to want it just as much as I like to give it. And so you have to be able to like, you know what, maybe this is something I need. I want to explore more to what it's all about. But I could tell you it's a world of a difference and it gives you another skill set out there. Now, when you make this money, you got to be able to like put it in certain containers and certain vaults and how you doing it and you're driving around like Claire's driving right now, right? And it's just like, well, how do you keep track of your mileage? How do you keep track of your income? How do you keep track of your payments? How do you keep track of that? And so if you guys can give me 5 minutes, I got Christian on board here. Some of you might have seen his stuff, but he's got an amazing app that could help you keep track of all this nonsense. I've looked at it before and I was like blown away by it. Plus, it's very simple. So, Christian, Show him your app. Give him your 10,000 foot overview, brother. And for those of you that want his app or want to have a deeper question when you're listening to him, put APP in the chat. Be like, damn, I need this really, really badly because I'm a real estate agent and I don't keep track of shit. So, Christian, go ahead.
Well, thank you for having me, and thank you all for staying on. So, the very quick one sentence is I'm trying to replace QuickBooks for real estate agents, plain and simple. I know that nobody likes tracking their numbers, nobody likes spreadsheets and learning complicated software. And so, my goal with this app, it's called Legend, is it's simple financial tracking built specifically for real estate agents. And so, I don't know, Brock, if you want me to like show the screen, but
Yeah,
it's
just
not
show him
real
the
pretty.
screen. Just
Yeah,
give him a quick
okay.
little run through of it because I'm a visual person. I don't know about you all, but he showed it to me, I was like, wow, that is pretty simple.
Yeah, so real quick, guys, got this handy little graphic here. So this is the actual app. I'm just running on my computer. But you've got a dashboard. You see all your current stats. So you'll see right away it is designed for agents. GCI, net commissions, closings, volume, right? It's speaking in real estate agent language. It's not the QuickBooks is an amazing app, right? But it's built for every business. And so they're going to have tons of things that you don't need. It's super complicated to learn. And so I wanted to make this, I was talking to Claudia Roberts earlier. It's the whole thing was just like simple, simple, simple. So you guys don't have to spend your time with spreadsheets, learning software. You can get back to doing what you love to do, which is selling houses. So current stats, you can set goals and targets. So you can set how much you want to make in a year. It's going to tell you exactly how many homes you need to sell per year, per quarter, per month. Progress, you get quick insights, seeing how much money you're making per month, where your leads are coming from or where your business is coming from, all your expenses broken down by category.
You
And
want to know what
then,
the biggest question I ask people is how much money did you make last year? How much money did you make last month? How much money did you make in the fourth quarter? How much money did you spend? And freaking, you know how many people tell me I don't really
no
know.
idea.
And that's why this thing I was just like, and what was cool is he changed the numbers and that chart moved because he was like, Brock, give me your numbers. I gave him my
Yeah.
numbers and see how that chart moves? Like that whole chart. I was like, oh damn, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so you set your goals, right? And it's going to match those goals against where you're at. And then here's the cool thing, guys. The closings, the expenses, the miles, it all works the same. So at the top of every screen, you have a little snapshot, correlates to the screen. Adding the closing takes about 30 seconds. And what we do is we enter in our broker split and cap. And so when you enter in the sale price and your commission rate, it's going to automatically calculate exactly how much you're going to get paid from the deal. So if we look at one here, we've got like the closing quick view, everything's searchable. So date, client name, price, address, you can search it all. When you open it up, we've got Tony Soprano. I was lucky enough to land him as a client out in Jersey Lane. But you can see here, GCI, it's going to break that out, broker split. This one is a transaction where we cap. So what you see here is a little bit under what would be the normal 15% for real. But you can make all your edits. You see all of your info here. And again, um, miles and expenses works the same way, right? So commission split. If you want to see how much should I put in my business account, how much goes to personal, how much goes to a tax account, you can set your defaults here, but you can change and it takes the closing, whatever closing you want to use. It'll tell you, how much you need to put in each account based on what you put. So nice and easy. You can say, hey, in this one, 3,204 is going to the business account, 2,500 towards taxes, right? Miles, expenses, again, works the same with expenses. No more holding on to receipts in a shoebox or in your safe because we have this little camera icon. It opens up a file picker or your
I was
camera.
gonna say, show him the pitch to the camera. That's so cool. You just take a picture of the receipt, or you take a picture of
Yeah.
anything. And I'm like, damn, that's pretty cool.
So since this is on my computer, the camera won't pop open, but when you do this, it opens your camera. And then this little button here, you can see the little page. It shows that there's a receipt attached. So you can always view the receipt. Let's see what pops up here. Those are my dogs. Sample picture. Um, you can change the receipt. You can, all the categories are tax categories. So these are all CPA, IRS friendly categories. Select it. Again, miles works the same way. You choose business or personal miles. And then at the end of the year, we've got reports. So we can
Yeah,
look
show
year to
him
date.
this. Listen
We
to
can look
this. All this was
all time.
cool.
Yeah, we see our profit summary. So how much commissions we made, operating expenses, business miles. We can look at every little category, broker split, income. And then at the end of the year, this little button down here, export reports. This exports everything in a CPA ready file. So it gives you a spreadsheet that's ready to just forward to your CPA. So at the end of the year, you're not managing, you're not, you know, digging through receipts. Everything is done, sent to your CPA. And that's the entire app. Guys, again, my goal was simple. I know that nobody likes doing this stuff. And so my goal with this was to take that burden off your shoulders and put it onto the app's shoulders and let you get back to work. So that's it. Jesse, app is available now. What I'm doing right now for the like kind of the early adopters on the app is I worked with Leah. We did a one-on-one onboarding to kind of walk through the process of onboarding. It's not in the App Store because I want to be able to do like Leah. Um, we found a little change that she wanted to make or she's helping me kind of look for friction points, right? I've already made about 90% of the changes that her and I went through. And because I'm controlling the app, I can push those changes out to you guys right away, add features right away. It doesn't take 6 months to go through the App Store process. So yeah, guys, that's about it. Anybody have any
I love it.
questions?
I love it, man. How many of you like that? I hear it so many times. Like I think maybe Heather, not to air out something you said, Heather, to me, but like you're like, oh, I had to do my taxes this weekend. How many times I hear from people like, I had to do my taxes this weekend. I got to figure out what accounts I did. Where's my business credit card? Do I have a business credit card? Did I reconcile? Did I put my stuff over here? I have no idea how many miles I did. Like all these things, it goes back to efficiency. Instead of wasting time on your taxes, all you could be making these phone calls here today to try to find more wholesale innovations and investors that are out there in your world by doing that. So if you want to do it, Christian put his link in there, the calendar link. If you haven't put app in the chat, put app in the chat so then that way I will send the chats over to Christian and he will reach out to you. But if this is something you want, or if you know somebody that wants this type of thing, like freaking, I'm telling you, I hate taxes. Drives me insane. So I would definitely look this up and do it all. Christian, anything you want to close this out with?
No, I think that's it, guys. Like I said, if you guys are interested in this, I put my calendar link. I am onboarding everybody one-on-one, so white glove service for getting started, just to make sure everything is set up properly for you and everything is easy. Like I said, guys, ease of use is it was like my whole thing with this, specific to agents and super easy to use. So that's what we've come up with.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate you.
Thank you
Guys,
for your time.
10:59, 10:59. How about land the plane with about 30 seconds left to go? Guys, I appreciate you all. I'll put my cell phone in on here. I don't know if Grace has my contact information ready to go, but I'll put my cell phone in there. That is not my cell phone. That is my cell phone number. Feel free to reach out to me, text me if you want to get in touch with me sooner than before I do in reference to the coaching, in reference to these novations and wholesales, and be like, I gotta do something. Text me. I'll be around majority of the day today. Today is my coaching day, so several of you I will be coaching later on. For anybody else, feel free to reach out to me. There's my email. There's all my information. Guys, take advantage of this all. There's a lot of people doing wholesales and innovations out there making some extra money. Go make yourself an extra $100,000 doing this type of stuff that I do part time, and you can do it part time as well. So even if you did one a quarter, you're going to be better off than you were last year. So, guys, I appreciate everybody being on here. Thank you guys so much. We'll be back in 2 weeks. For those of you that I'll see in Alabama, I'll be in Gulf Shores, Alabama. Claire, are you going to be there? Claire's going to be there. I'm excited. Anybody else that's going to be there? Wait, little. Can't wait to see you, Claire. For anybody else, I'll be in Alabama in 3 weeks. So for those of you, maybe I'll see you in our passing. Till then, see ya.